Hello and welcome to Baatchit with Cafemutual. My name is Suhail Chagla and today I'm joined by Saugata Chatterjee, President and Deputy CEO at Nippon India Mutual Fund. Mr. Chatterjee, welcome to the show. You're today at the Cafemutual Passives Conference 2026. How do you feel being here?
No, it's great. I think with Cafemutual, I've been associated for maybe from the time they have started their business in India. And it's great to see that how Cafemutual is continuously over the years trying to, reinvent. And passives is something which they have really adopted as a strategy for their, for distributors and investors. It's a great thing for all of us.
All right. Well, first things I'll say is the passive industry today has 15 lakh crore in AUM. It's increased by 30% since last year. What do you think are the main factors for this growth?
Yeah, so this growth actually, any growth which happens in a particular year is because of the foundation which has been laid in the previous year. The entire passive space started growing post COVID, and that's the time when the ETFs and the fact that investors should participate in passive strategies started becoming very, very prominent. The digital revolution also brought in a lot of investors because if you dissect the passive AUM, there's a 70% is attributed to ETFs and 30% is to index funds. ETFs are primarily investors who are coming through the digital platform or the exchange platform, and that's actually grown leaps and bounds, and compounded with distribution fraternity bringing in a lot of money in the index fund space, that has added might to the growth of the index fund or the passive strategy in India.
Okay. Now, going forward, what steps do you think the industry should take to increase awareness for passive funds among both investors and distributors?
Yeah, so what happens, and I think it's a good question because we as manufacturers and distributors, we always talk about asset allocation. Something which we have to really practice in the investor's portfolio is how do we make passives as a part of the asset allocation strategy. There is something everyone talks about core, satellite, etc. But if you have 100 rupee allocation which you are recommending to your investor, there should be at least 25 to 30% allocation to passives. And that's where probably the scale and size and the investors' intent to participate in this category will start becoming more and more prominent. More people will start looking at this strategy from a long-term point of view. Probably that's the first thing. Second is forums like Cafemutual, and today you all have launched your passive, the book has just been inaugurated. How do we educate the intermediaries? How do we educate the investor to start looking at this category from a wealth creation point of view? Is something which we have to really work very closely. All the manufacturers like us have to make passive as our core, discussion point. So it's more of a revolution which has to continue over the years to make this a large category in the industry.
Okay. And in that, there are a lot of misconceptions about passive funds in the industry. Could you name a few of them and could you clear them up?
Yeah, so the misconception, the biggest and most important thing is a passive strategy or strategies which are around ETFs and index funds. There is no active manager or a person does not manage these funds.
Right.
These are all, the ETFs and index funds are wrapped around the indices which are launched by NSE and BSE. So the indices are the core on which the ETFs are housed, and there is no fund manager who manages these portfolios. So that's the first important thing which one has to keep in mind. Hence you get diversity, hence you get a lot of options, hence you get an ability to participate in the market using strategies like standard Nifty, or you get into smart beta, or you get into the sector funds, you get into commodities, you may get into international whenever international opens up. So it's a huge basket of products which are there. Hence the myth that it's very very stereotype, one category opportunity is not there. You get a multi-fold basket. You get unbiased sort of a behavior when the strategies are done. Churn is very very low because every such strategy which is run, there are defined portfolio rebalancing tenors which are defined. So that's again very very transparent. So the transparency part is very high. The expenses are on the lower side. The investor gets a reasonably competitive category to participate in, and as I mentioned, the basket is large.
Okay. Well, my final question is regarding the passive awards. Nippon has won 7 passive awards today at Cafemutual Passive Conference. What does this mean for you?
No, it's again, we have been passionately driving passive for the last 2017 is the time when we acquired the Goldman Sachs business, and then we, it was a very small business which we acquired, but we had a vision that this can become very large. From 6,000 crores, now we have moved to 2.5 lakh crores. It's it's a multiple which is very very large, 40 times growth in roughly about 8-9 years. Number of investors, we have more than 1 crore plus investors who are part of our ETF journey. What it shows that these awards are a testimony to the hard thoughts which we have brought in place. We like to disseminate the knowledge part about passive funds. We would like more distributors to come and participate in this journey, and we are always trying to innovate to bring in new ideas in the market so that the investors get an experience which global investors get in US and other markets.
Okay. Well, thank you for your very insightful answers. Now we'll get to our fun part. We'll ask you some rapid fire questions.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. So my first rapid fire question is, if you weren't in your current position as a president and deputy CEO, if you weren't in this career field at all, what career would you be in?
Now, I would like to get into educating India and the Indians how to get into capital markets and various other things, because India needs a lot of education.
Okay, got it. One financial habit Indians should steal from international financial markets, some Americans, for example.
Well, I think, see, when Indians buy real estate, they buy for long term. No one looks at the price every day. So thinking long term is something which one should look at when you're investing into mutual funds or in any such instrument. And long term is at least 5 year, 10 year, 15 year, 20 year. That's how the globally investors have made money, because if it is an asset allocation, give it time to mature rather than looking at it every day and probably, ECG, we know ECG cardiogram makes you, your behavior should not be like an ECG.
Okay, got it. AI, is it a friend, foe, or a frenemy?
No, it's definitely going to be a friend and a foe, not an enemy, of course, but maybe a combination of that. AI is something which is going to lead the change towards investments in times to come. Because if you see, ETF also has a color of AI, because it's a machine which is working.
Right.
On that there can be some intelligence, which is the smart beta which has come in. You bring in more predictability and tools around that, it becomes an AI, option when it comes to passives. So passives have already taken a leap by using AI in a big way.
Okay. My final rapid fire question is the biggest myths that clients believe about investing.
Sabko, as Indians, we want, returns tomorrow. So that I think we have to break that myth. It's all long term. Let's keep in mind, if India as an economy is going to grow in the next 10, 15, 20 years, even if it grows by 9 to 10% nominal, the growth will make this economy very, very large. Growth in economy happens because corporate India contributes to the growth of the economy. When it comes to investments, you participate in that growth through various strategies. Hence, keep patience in your mind. Patience is the key to success.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I had. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
That's it for this time on Baatchit with Cafemutual. Tune in next time to see many more insights from the industry's leaders.
All the best.
Thank you.